We finally have a manner of death and a murder charge in the case of Kada Scott against her suspected killer, Keon King. Let's get started. This video contains mature themes and discussions intended only for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello and welcome back, my friend. Thank you very much for being here. My name is Gavin. Welcome to another true crime discussion here on my channel. On this channel, we like to dive into documents. We like to dive into the nitty-gritty of true crime. We're going to do that tonight, but we're not going to bury the lead. We've got a homicide charge against Keon King. Well, I should say the DA has said that homicide charges are coming. I checked the court about an hour ago and they weren't quite there yet. But I'm just going to start off with this news here real quick, and then we're going to get into the case itself, okay? Death of Kada Scott ruled a homicide. Keon King charged in murder, DA says. This is according to NBC Philadelphia. The death of Kada Scott, the Philadelphia woman whose body was found 2 weeks after her disappearance, has been ruled a homicide, and Keon King, the suspect in her kidnapping, is now charged with murder, officials revealed. The Philadelphia District Attorney's Office, or Philadelphia Police Deputy Commissioner Frank Venore, made the initial announcement on X on Wednesday. That's today. The Philadelphia District Attorney's Office then confirmed that they approved additional charges against King. He is now charged with murder, robbery, theft, violation of the Uniform Firearms Act, possessing an instrument of a crime, tampering with evidence, abuse of corpse, conspiracy, and obstruction of justice. While Scott's death was ruled a homicide, officials have not yet revealed the exact cause. We're finalizing things now, a spokesperson for the Philadelphia Department of Health told NBC 10 on Wednesday. Because we're in the process of notifications, I can't release it just yet, hoping early tomorrow morning. And I should check just one more time real quick. Let's bring up Kada's picture here. I'm just going to very quickly see if those charges are in yet. They weren't as of about an hour ago. Let's see. Let me just show active cases. Actually, it looks like there's a 13th case now. So I don't see it. No, I do not see it. Yeah, so it has not been filed yet. Okay, now this is our first video on the murder of sorry, I'm checking my audio here. Kind of weird. I'm wearing my IEMs instead of my headphones today. So it's kind of feeling weird. I'm going to have to get used to this. Anyway, okay. So this is our first video on the murder of Kada Scott. So, man, this is really bad. Yeah, so bear with me. Let's get into the case just a little bit, maybe talk a little bit about Kada, who she was, kind of just a summary of the case. While I'm doing this, I want you guys see on the lower third there, use GF to get my attention in the live chat. If you're new here, if you put GF, that highlights it on my end so that I will be able to see your question or comment and respond to it when we get to it, okay? But for now, let's head on over here and let's just introduce ourselves to this case, okay? Kada Scott is she's passed. She was a 23-year-old young woman from the Philadelphia area. She's a Penn State graduate. She was described by friends and family as kind-hearted, as introverted. She was not known to have anybody who would consider her an enemy. She had a friend that was about to get married. She was preparing for that. Like I said, she graduated from Penn State. She was employed at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill, an assisted living facility in Philadelphia. She was working an overnight shift. I looked it up here real quick. Let's get over here, do just a little mappy poo here. This is where we're talking about that. This is her workplace. I'm going to just zoom out so you can see where we are in the world. All right. We're in southeastern Pennsylvania in the Philadelphia area. Scrolling in. And we can actually, why don't we kind of take a look-see here real quick. Where is it? Let me go back. I may have dropped that incorrectly. Yeah, let's, okay. Yeah, I guess this is it right here. It's an assisted living facility. Okay. Coming back over here, her family said, her colleagues said that she was early on in her role at the assisted living facility. She didn't have any deep established relationships with any coworkers yet, they said. Kada, I love this picture of her. She's Miss Philadelphia Township, USA. On October 4th, 2025, Kada left for her overnight shift at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill at about 9:45 p.m. Her car was parked in the facility when she went missing. There was no phone activity. There was no social media activity, no contact with friends and family after that time, 9:45 p.m., October 4th, 2025. But she had reported to friends and family that she had been receiving harassing phone calls from unknown people, an unknown person or persons. Now, getting into kind of the timeline of things, let's look at Mr. King here for a second. Back in January of this year, he was accused of the kidnapping and strangulation of a different Philadelphia woman. Turns out that that woman did not appear in court. She failed to appear in court, and charges were dropped. The next thing we know from the timeline is that on the 3rd of October, my 50th birthday, dang it, I don't really like my 50th birthday. Wait on, you know what? Robin's going to be angry. Robin is going to be angry at me for reasons that shall become obvious. There we go. Okay. A black 2008 Hyundai Accent was stolen from the 6600 block of Sprague Street in Philadelphia. The next day is the day that Kada Scott went missing. Last seen around 9:45 p.m. on the 4th, like I said. Okay. No social media, anything after. So on the 7th, 3 days later, a tip leads police to a burned out Hyundai Accent on the 2300 block of 74th Avenue. In Philadelphia, the investigation shows that the vehicle had been towed, compacted, and placed in a junkyard. Okay, so then a couple days later, police search apparently the home of Keon King on the 5500 block of Belmar Terrace. The next day, a large search of the grounds of Aubrey Arboretum in East Germantown is conducted using canines, other units, but no confirmed finds. Then on the 15th, Keon King's arrest is announced in connection with Kada Scott's disappearance. This vehicle, a Toyota Camry, 99 Toyota Camry, was believed to be tied to the case. It was located in East Falls. Evidence found at the abandoned. And then there was evidence found at the Ada H. Lewis Middle School, which is an abandoned middle school. Mr. King was held on bail, set at $2.5 million in the case. Now, the previous case, he was set on a $200,000 bail, but he made bail quickly by, professional bondsman. Apparently, Mr. King has access to cash. On the 17th, so we're just talking like the next day, there is on social media, there is video surfacing showing Mr. King stalking another woman earlier in the year, which, points out a pattern here, right? And then on the next day, a very specific anonymous tip led investigators to the wooded area behind the middle school, the abandoned middle school. That was the second anonymous tip. This one, apparently, they haven't given us details on, but it was very specific, and a shallow grave containing human remains was discovered. The following day, DNA testing indicated that the remains were those of Kada Scott. 2 days ago, the Philadelphia DA's office, Larry Krasner, not my favorite person in the world, announced more charges against King, including arson, causing a catastrophe, conspiracy, tampering with evidence, unauthorized use of a vehicle, and receiving stolen property. And then today, just a couple hours ago, her death was ruled a homicide, and the DA's office says they're filing homicide charges. I should be able to get that affidavit of probable cause here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It is public record, so I should be able to do that. All right, so that is kind of the case in a nutshell. Before I go on to the next thing that I want to show you guys, let me just go through a couple of your comments here. Okay, Jen is saying audio is good, so that's good. Yep, Jen said better get that light on for Robin. No light on. You guys know what's happening. Just Ducky says, Gavin, she took all her things and punched out. What was the text that got her to leave? I could see her briefly walking outside if someone said, hey, I brought you dinner, but not punching out. Yeah, I don't know. Looks like good thing Robin isn't here to catch me on that. So, yeah, it seems like you know a little bit more, Ducky, about the case than I do. I've been looking at it. Of course, Gisela has been covering it. But people who are really into the case, you guys will know more about the case than me. Okay. So let's go over and look at some documents here. Okay, I requested from the municipal court. Actually, no, let's not look at the documents just yet. I want to bring up the press conference from just a couple of days ago. There are a couple of spots that I would like to play for you guys. This was 2 days ago. She will introduce herself. I don't really need to introduce her, but I've got a couple things. So this is the family statement on Kada. Let's have a listen.
Good morning. I'm Tania Leonard, the Director of Crisis Assistance, Response, and Engagement Unit here at the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office. And on behalf of the CARES Unit, I want to begin by extending our deepest care and support to the family of Kada Scott during this unimaginable, difficult time. CARES was created.
The man standing to her right, the tall, bald man, big man, he is a member of Kada Scott's family. He is there representing the family. Her parents are not there.
Created to stand with families who have experienced this type of tragedy and to walk beside them, help them access the support they need, and ensure they are not alone in days and weeks ahead. Yesterday evening, members of our team met with the mother and father of Kada Scott at their home alongside the district attorney to offer our continued presence, resources, and support as they navigate this profound loss. At this time, with the family's permission, we'll share a statement prepared by Kada's mother and father as we stand in solidarity with the family as a unit, as victim advocates, and as an office during this journey of grief and healing. Today, we'll say her name. Tomorrow, we'll say her name. And forever, we will say her name. It is with profound sadness that we share the tragic passing of our beloved daughter, Kada Scott. We kindly ask for space and privacy at this time as we process the heartbreaking events of the past few weeks. Our hearts are shattered, yet we are deeply grateful for the outpouring of love, support, and prayers from people across the nation and around the world. Please continue to keep us in prayer as we navigate this unimaginable loss. Our hearts are broken beyond measure. We are profoundly thankful to every person who shared Kada's story, joined the search efforts, prayed with us, and stood by our family during this devastating time. Your compassion, love, and strength have carried us when we could not carry ourselves. Kada was deeply loved. Her light, kindness, and beautiful spirit will forever remain in our hearts. We also wish to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Mayor Sherelle Parker, the Philadelphia Police Department, all first responders, local volunteers, community organizations, and media outlets, as well as everyone who worked tirelessly to help find our daughter. Although the outcome is one no parent should ever have to face, we remain thankful for the unity, leadership, and love that surrounded us through it all. As we continue to grieve, our family now seeks justice for Kada. We place our full trust in the Philadelphia Police Department and the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office to ensure that the truth is revealed and that those responsible are held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Please honor Kada's memory by showing kindness and care to one another, just as she did every day of her life. With love, strength, and gratitude, the family of Kada Scott.
That's a remarkable statement from people in a position that I would hope to never be in. Oh, just so sad and tragic, but it's amazing to hear words like that from the family. The thing that makes me just angry about this case is that this seems to be the third, at least the second, but maybe the third time that Keon King has expressed his violent tendency and has sought to, and in some cases been successful at, kidnapping a woman. That $200,000 bail kills me. They asked for $1 million. But, they asked for $999,999, but the judge gave him $200,000 bail, and he was able to get $20,000 cash and get out. It's just crazy. Okay, this is the lead prosecutor here. Let's see. I just want to make sure. Yeah. Oh, one of the things before we get to her comments. One of the things that the family brought up is thanking not only the first responders, the investigators, the community organizers, but also the media. And, there are like 300 murders in Philadelphia every year. So this is happening almost on a daily basis, that somebody is murdered in Philadelphia. So the fact that the media, social media, kind of took up Kada's case is pretty remarkable, and I'm really grateful that happened. I'm late to this party for sure. I'm totally late to the party, but those who did cover it early on, I commend you. Thank you for doing that. And this prosecutor is going to tell us a little bit, including how the public played a role in helping to solve this case. Here we go.
Thank you. As of last night, our office approved charges, as the DA just said, of arson, causing catastrophe, conspiracy,
Again, this is 2 days ago. There will be homicide charges.
unauthorized use of an automobile, tampering with evidence, recklessly endangering another person, and receipt of stolen property. Those charges are in reference to the burning of a vehicle. That vehicle is a 2008 black Hyundai Accent. That vehicle first entered our radar last week. Investigators received a tip that there was a vehicle burning and that vehicle had some connection to this case. At the time last week, when investigators went to the location where the vehicle was burned, that vehicle was no longer there. It had already been towed, compacted, and was in a junkyard. This weekend, we recovered additional evidence, including video evidence that confirms that this vehicle, we believe, is the vehicle that Mr. Keon King used to move Ms. Scott. We recovered video out from near the Ada Lewis Middle School, where our search and the investigator search has been focused. There's a rec center directly next to that school. Video evidence was recovered from that rec center, and we are now able to say that this Hyundai Accent was on location at all of the times we're looking at all of the pertinent points in the investigation. That vehicle was stolen on October 3rd from the area of 6600 Sprague Street. We believe that vehicle is the vehicle that was used in this case. That vehicle was then on scene at that rec center, which ultimately, as we all know, is where we found Ms. Scott's human remains. Video evidence indicates it was on location. Video evidence then indicates it leaves the location. It is burned on October 7th. It was located at the 2300 block of 74th Avenue. When this new video evidence was uncovered this weekend, investigators from the homicide unit cross-referenced all of this information with the cell phone evidence that we had already gained and we had already been using in terms of the kidnapping case and other charges. What I can share is that the cell phone evidence, the call detail records, and timing advance data as it pertains to Keon King's mobile device puts him at all of the locations that we're talking about. It's on scene when the Hyundai Accent is there at the recreation center. It is on scene when the vehicle is burned. Based on that, last night I approved those charges, and as the DA said, we should have more information in terms of bail and a preliminary hearing date, hopefully this afternoon or certainly by tomorrow.
All right. Let me get back to that here real quick. Oh no, there's a little more.
Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate those details. Just a reminder to those in the public who have been so helpful, I think you just heard Ashley Teslowski talking about the fact that this burning automobile was connected to this case in part due to a tip from the public. I'm not kidding when I say that the public has played an enormous role here. I would ask residents of Philadelphia to continue reaching out with tips and information to seek justice for the family of Kada Scott and to allow us to have all the facts so we can justly and vigorously prosecute defendant Keon King and any other people who may have been involved with his activity. Philadelphia Police Department can accept this information at 215-686-TIPS. In other words, 215-686-TIPS. You can also call the DA's office at 215-686-8000, and we will make sure that your information is considered as an...
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. But yeah, the public has played a big role in this, and if you have anything else that you can add to the investigation, I encourage you to do that. Here is the last little clip I want to show you.
So in terms of your first question about the tip, what I can share is that obviously initially we received a tip to go to a meeting last week. We received a tip to go to the Ada Lewis Middle School. Investigators went, did a thorough search. Essentially what The new tip was this weekend was go back. It was go back, she's there, look again, and they did give more specific details in terms of where to look. And ultimately, that is what led us to her.
Text and email, can you say how?
I'm not going to say how. Obviously, we are investigating the tip, and we'll continue to do that, but the tip was more specific than the first. It was very specific to go back, and it was more specific in terms of where to look, and that is what the police did.
I find that very interesting, right? That they received a tip, go out to the Ada Lewis Middle School. They went out there, couldn't find anything. Got a second tip, apparently anonymous, saying, no, look specifically here. And that's what led to them finding the, Kada's remains, right? Okay, let's look a little bit into this Keon King guy. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to show you, let me bring it up here. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Philadelphia operates differently than almost anywhere in the Commonwealth. When I requested a criminal complaint, the criminal complaint against Mr. King, this one would be the kidnapping that he did apparently back in January, and the one that was most recently filed just a couple of days ago. This is what they gave me, and I am not familiar with most of this stuff because it's so different from anywhere else in the whole Commonwealth. Anywhere I request a criminal complaint, I get a form that I recognize. But this is the subpoena for Mr. King to appear. Of course, he was already in jail at the time. Notice of language rights. Okay, so here is just the kind of charging document, looks like to me. So he was charged felony 1, kidnapping, misdemeanor 1, terroristic threats, misdemeanor 2. I don't know what REAP means. Let me go here. No, let me go here. This is his actual criminal history. DUI in Delaware County, and then this is the one right here. So, yeah, I don't know why I said. Oh, recklessly endangering another person. That's what REAP is. Criminal mischief, a summary offense. Felony 2, strangulation. Misdemeanor 2, simple assault, and a summary offense of harassment. His bail was set at $200,000. This looks like an arraignment report is what it looks like for me. I think there were a couple of other pieces of this. No, nothing else really in that. Then here is the affidavit of probable cause, which is really brief. Again, kidnapping, strangulation, terroristic threats, simple assault. What did that stand for again? Recklessly endangering another person, harassment, criminal mischief. And then it's very, there's almost nothing there except we can learn a little bit here. Okay, so on Sunday, the 13th of January, 2025, again, we're just kind of looking into the background of Mr. King here, right? Around 12:30 a.m., the complainant's CP was inside her home on the 1900 block of North 23rd Street when the offender, Keon King, climbed over her yard fence and lifted her rear window slightly and ripped out all of the curtains. The offender was unable to gain access, so he began pounding and kicking onto her back door, attempting to enter. The male was unable to get in and caused damage to the door before fleeing prior to police arrival. Cell phone video of the male pounding on the back door was uploaded to evidence.com. Later that same day, the male returned to the house around 3:30 p.m., climbed in the same yard fence, and was looking into the glass windows of the complainant's and gripped what appeared to be a firearm in his waistband. The male then climbed back over the fence prior to police arrival. Video of this incident was also uploaded to evidence.com. About an hour later, the complainant and her friend witness were exiting the property on the 1900 block of North 23rd Street to talk to the store when the offender, Keon King, exiting a tan Toyota Camry, and grabbed the complainant, dragging her onto the front seat of his vehicle. The offender then drove off at a high rate of speed with the passenger door still ajar and his 2-year-old daughter in the back seat. Prior to putting the complainant into the vehicle, he threatened to kill the witness if she got involved. The complainant attempted to get the male to stop driving, but the offender became aggressive and bit the complainant's face and choked her. The offender finally dropped the complainant off at 700 Girard Avenue, where she flagged down a police patrol car. The complainant sustained minor injuries and was taken to CDD, where she made a statement and signed a single photo positively identifying her ex-boyfriend, Keon King, as the male who repeatedly climbed her yard fence, damaging her house and kidnapping the complainant. The male is known to carry a black Glock handgun and made several threats to kill the complainant and the witness. The complainant states the male does not have a current address and stays where it's available. So that's what happened back in January with Mr. King. Give me just a second here, guys. Yeah, this is important. I will make that call. Cool. All right. Now, the same document coming over here that was charged. I think this one is the. Yeah, he's got a subpoena to appear on November 3rd, but we know that that's actually going to be the 4th. It's been delayed. But getting back into it, by the way, these documents that I'm showing you have been uploaded to Patreon for my patrons. If you guys want to download them there, they are there. I published those about an hour ago. Okay, so he was given a $2.5 million bail this time. He has been incarcerated until he can make such bail. I think in the Commonwealth, though, for homicide, I think they'll hold him without bail. Nothing left here. Here's the criminal complaint. On or about October 4th in the area of 490 East Abington Avenue in the city and county of Philadelphia, the defendant unlawfully removed or confined the complainant, Kada Scott. Kidnapping, false imprisonment, use of a communication facility, stalking. Why do I have such a hard time remembering what? Recklessly endangering another person and tampering with evidence. He was later, that's all they put in the criminal complaint. There's no real details. But I do want to see, like, in the court filing, this is the one that we just looked at right here. And then yesterday, more, as they said in the press conference, more charges were filed: arson, causing catastrophe, and conspiracy. And then I expect probably by tomorrow we will have the new charges of homicide. So, this is the docket, and his preliminary hearing has been moved from the 3rd to the 4th. Now, unfortunately, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we won't be able to attend that, which really sucks. Well, I mean, we could attend it. We just can't broadcast it. So he's currently in a county correctional facility. They're not saying where. It's in another jurisdiction. He is still in custody. And yeah, he's got a lot. You can see the different cases that are attached to this. All these cases are related. So, yeah, Mr. King is definitely facing some hard charges. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. Maria says, my girlfriend works for homicide. I just texted her, WTF are they doing? Sylvette is saying they have not increased the bail and the community is furious. Yeah, they should be. They didn't take it to trial with just video evidence in that case, but how much are they using video evidence in this case? Wow, Ducky, that is a great observation. So they dropped the case because she didn't show up to court. They had the video, but they dropped the case. That is bull crap. Sylvette said she left home at 9:45 p.m. She was in communications with him allegedly, and she stepped out of her job and she disappeared 30 minutes after arriving at work. Yeah, man. K-Check W says local elections are important. We all need to be more invested in those that are running for office at a local level. 100%. Sylvette says he posted bail and paid cash $20,000 himself. That makes me wonder, as a 21-year-old man, my imagination works properly, but getting $20,000 cash, that kind of makes me tend to believe that he gets his money illegally. That's just me. Just me. Autumn says he currently says he's in Philadelphia Department of Corrections. Okay. Mooney saying that is yet another poor Krasner decision to drop the case. Yeah. You guys know our relationship with Mr. Krasner is that he once represented Josh and Sandy Greenberg, the parents of Ellen Greenberg. And when he was elected DA, he kicked the case up to the AG's office, which he probably should have done. But I don't like Mr. Krasner because I think he gave the AG's office evidence that they didn't have. And they've used that evidence as a cudgel to keep Ellen Greenberg's case classified as a suicide ever since. Yeah. Yeah, Sylvette. Now they've reinstated the charges as BS. They failed her. I agree. Not a lot of talky talk going on in the live chat for me. Jen is asking if this is near me. No, I am in Western Pennsylvania, almost all the way to Ohio. And this is in Philadelphia, which is southeast. So for me to drive to Philadelphia takes me about 6 hours, 6.5 maybe. Kind of depends. But it's a beautiful drive because it's Pennsylvania. So I get that. Well, hey, Sylvette, thank you very much for being here tonight. Glad to have somebody who knows the case so well. Tomorrow, guys, we are going to be circling back to the Kevin Mullins case. The daughter of Mickey Steins, she's an adult now, but I don't need to say her name. She's a beautiful young lady. She has gone public and is calling out people like me, people like Elizabeth Jones. And do I have? I think I do. Elizabeth Jones. She's being called out by Mickey Stein's daughter. And we're going to be talking to Elizabeth Jones about that. And a lawsuit filed by Kevin Mullins' widow against Mickey Steins. So there's a lot going on. couple more questions before we run out the door here real quick. Bring Kada back up here. Melissa says the whole office needs an overhaul. Yeah, it's really hard to root out corruption, man. And then, will I be attending the November 4th hearing? I will not, because I don't think it's being held by Zoom, and I can't make it out to that hearing. That'd be kind of cool, though. Maybe I can. Maybe I can make November 4th. I can probably just stay with friends in Philadelphia and make it a cheap trip. So let's talk about that on Slack, see if that's something that that would be good for the channel, be good for the viewers. I would be happy to do that. Don't mind going out to see friends in Philly. Make a quick day trip out of it, but or an overnight trip out of it. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. Let's talk about it in Slack. See if we all agree that that's something that we should be doing. Okay. So tomorrow again, we're going to be going back to Kevin Mullins. It's gonna be kind of fiery, I think. Before we go, I always want to point you over to my website, gavinfish.com, where you can reach out to me. There are crime cod articles. Oh my goodness. There's a 9-year-old missing California girl. Who wrote this one? This is Kate wrote this one. Okay, so check out my website, gavinfish.com. Check out Crime Cod. Sign up for the newsletter. Also hang out with us on Facebook over in the Fish Tank. Just search Gavin Fish. You'll find me. It looks just like that. Okay, and then we'll be back tomorrow with another conversation on the Kevin Mullins trial. The lawsuit's kind of crazy. And Mickey Stein's daughter coming out and talking. I don't blame her, and she has every right. But she does not like what people like I do. People like me, people like people like Elizabeth Jones and me. She doesn't like what we do. So we will talk about that. Until then, I bid you adieu. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.